Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, this is show 179. Today's date, another funny date, 7/17/17. So mark this on your calendar, 7/17/17. And the name of the show is Russia, Russia, Russia. And guys, you know, I've been giving Uncle Joey the business about everything with Trump and Russia, and of course, Uncle Joey's denying everything. And, Uncle Joey said to me, he goes, Rich, you sound like a whiny little wimp that just keeps repeating things. Russia, Russia, Russia. So, hopefully, Judy will play the video.
Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Now, sweetheart. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Can I get volume out here, Kurt?
Now, sweetheart. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Now, sweetheart. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Now, sweetheart.
Kurt, can I get volume out here? But guys, so Uncle Joey's been criticizing me, and he's telling me, Rich, you've been on a witch hunt. So, Judy, let's have still number one, please. You've been on a witch hunt, and, you want people to wait for proof about this Russian-Trump collusion stuff. And are you tired of Democrats wasting everyone's time? So this is Joey's philosophy. And, guys, so, we've been going back and forth. And it's always rule number 17 with Uncle Joey. Deny, deny, deny. Doesn't matter what it is. If it has anything to do with the Republican Party being wrong about something, deny it. So guys, I was having some fun, and just for giggles, I emailed, Joey and I always Facebook each other. So, Judy, can you bring up there you go. So, guys, I don't know why. I don't know why, but I said to Uncle Joey, Russia, Russia, Russia. And what Uncle Joey responded was, he said to me, Rich, this will never be proven. It's all garbage. And while we were talking, I sent Joey an email. I'm on the right-hand side. Trump Jr. just released the emails that don't exist. I love it when you make yourself look stupid for your party. Judy, come back to me. Come back and forth to me. And guys, I say that to Joey, and the reason why I say it, his philosophy is my party, right or wrong, my party. Just like the Nazis. Exactly like the Nazis did. And, if Uncle Joey tries to tell you anything different, don't let him. Don't let him. So anyway, I typed that in for people that yourself look stupid, that make yourself look stupid for your party. And then Joey typed me back, you'll see, Rich. No worries, though. Your handlers will give you something else when this goes away. And I answered him, handlers? I'm watching it live. Trump Jr. just bitch slapped you, and now you have to say, Judy, can you come back to me? Thank you, Don. May I have another? Now, can you imagine being Uncle Joey sitting home, watching this on TV, and all of a sudden Trump Jr. comes out and he admits everything that's been happening? And guys, it's in black and white. This is the beauty. There's no backing out now. So anyway, I said to Joey, I'm watching it live. And then he comes back and he says, you will see, Rich, I am never wrong. You, on the other hand, always are. And the reason why he's never wrong is because he belongs to the party of the right. So he thinks he's right all the time. He thinks he's correct. But I tell you, poor Uncle Joey, he's so brainwashed. So I wrote back to him and I said, you were just proven wrong in claiming there were no emails, weren't you? Joe, it's in black and white. You wrote it. Are you going to lie about that too? Do you know when you're lying? Do you have a wet brain or PTSD? And guys, I hate to say it, but when you see the emails that we're going to show you tonight and you deny them, if you don't have a screw loose, something ain't right. Something ain't going, the elevator ain't going to the top. I mean, because you're in a state of denial, you're worse than an alcoholic. And speaking of alcoholics, the next still we're going to show you is people like Uncle Joey. So, Judy, can we have clip number? People I can't defend Trump I can't defend Trump on this topic. So I'll bring up Hillary Clinton or President Obama because it's the only way I know how to argue. And Judy, it's so true. I mean, what they do is anytime you bring something factual, what they do is they have to give you the double reverse. And guys, if you go back a couple of shows, we did a show called The Double Reverse to show you what the Republican Party does. But this is blame it on Obama. And I love to claim that people that always beef about Obama, they got Obama on the brain. But you know what, guys? The Affordable Care Act can fix Obama on the brain. But guys, since we're on a roll, a lot of times when it's Republicans and the Republican Party, these people just believe what you tell them. So Judy, can we have still number 4? So guys, Trump should just lie and say the wall is already built. This way his supporters will believe him and the rest of us will save billions of dollars. Joey, the wall's been built, Joey. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad. That's another thing President Trump did. Say he makes things happen. But guys, what happens is people like Uncle Joey and the simple folk. That's what I call them, the simple folk. And guys, when I post on Facebook, I always spell simple folk. I spell simple wrong. But guys, what happens is they've more or less been gaslighted. And our clowny friend Janina, how you doing? Janina's really into gaslighting, and she understands it. And she had a narcissistic relationship, so she understands this. And a lot of people don't get it. And we're going to show you a clip now which will kind of explain why some of the people think and why some of the people do the things that they do for the Republican Party. And guys, sometimes it's sad, but I mean, we've got a real problem. And I mean, the problem is that people just believe what they hear. So anyway, let's try to learn a little bit. And wait, Judy, before we do that, let's bring up still number 5, just to make sure that we got this right. Yeah, gaslight. Okay, it's to manipulate by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. And guys, that's all right. Judy, come back. But guys, that's what it is. After a while, you start to say, wait a minute. Could it be possible that I got this wrong? And guys, that's why whenever I do the show, whenever I talk to somebody about the Republican Party and Republican policies, I always try to break it down to the science of global warming. Because with the science of global warming, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't trick a thermometer. And thermometers don't have a D or an R on them. Satellites aren't programmed to give you a Republican point of view. The sea buoys, You know, they're just out there taking temperature readings. That's all they do. You know, but of course, you know, you're going to get the people, and, you know, the Republican Party uses the gaslighting technique. It's a prevalent technique that they use and they try to get away with. But we're not going to let them get away with it. So, Judy, let's have clip number 1, please.
Donald Trump and his cronies aren't just liars. They want to make you and the press not believe your own minds. The Trump administration is gaslighting America. Trump's team wants to create a world where no one knows what to believe, where facts and reality are irrelevant, and all that matters is what Trump says.
Can you state categorically? You are fake news.
They want to make the very concept of an independent media obsolete. Gaslighting is when an individual psychologically manipulates someone into doubting their sanity and questioning their understanding of what's going on around them. When other sources of information are cut off, the process becomes self-reinforcing. The gaslighted don't trust themselves to perceive reality correctly, which makes them more dependent on the gaslighter. Here's one example. There have been massive anti-Trump protests since the beginning of his term, yet many Trump supporters and even some Trump opponents believe these protesters have been paid. Why? Because of bullshit like this.
People are being paid to protest?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, protesting has become a profession now. This has become a very paid, AstroTurf type movement.
Others have debunked this lie, but Trump and his team are attacking their credibility, claiming that they are the actual victim. Here's a non-political example. Let's say you're at the beach. You see a whale breaching. Excited, you shout out, "Whale! I just saw a whale." 3 other people at the beach who hate the environment say to you, "No, that wasn't a whale. That was a rock. You saw a rock." The rest of the group agrees. You begin to doubt whether you saw a whale or not. You replay the image of the whale breaching in your head, but it becomes distorted by what the group said. You question your perception of reality. Donald Trump is gaslighting on a much larger scale.
I say I don't have to do anything for anybody.
He does this all the time. And here's the kicker. It's not just Trump. It's also propaganda outlets tied to Trump. They rush to reinforce Trump's false narrative with his base, which only puts mainstream outlets in a tougher position. The future of American democracy depends on journalists, reporters, and everyday Americans rising above Trump's gaslighting and putting an end to it once and for all.
Guys, it comes down to us holding their feet to the fire. When somebody says something ridiculous, you ridicule them. And it's that simple. You don't let them get away with it. But you know, what they do is they try to alter your perception of reality. And this is what, you know, they try to make you feel like you're the victim. Oh, maybe the globe isn't warming. You know, maybe the Republican Party, you know, and it's an alternate universe. And this is what they try to, you know, try to establish. And you saw the one guy from Fox, Brian Kilmeade. He said to, I think it was Sean Spicer with a different haircut. And he said, so there were paid protesters out there? And the guy goes, yes, absolutely. And then the average guy sitting home goes, see that, Stella? They said absolutely, those protesters are paid. That's why they go. And guys like Uncle Joey sit there and they go, yeah, And guys, that's why I do the show. You know what I mean? Just so that this way, they can't get away with it anymore. And I tell you, you might say, Rich, what are you talking about? Lies? You know, half the time stuff is made up. Guys, rule number 17, deny, deny, deny. And the next clip is going to show you 17 times that Trump, his supporters, or Fox News has lied about Trump and Russia. So, Judy, let's have clip number 2, please.
Are there any ties between Mr. Trump, you or your campaign, and Putin and his regime?
No, there are not. It's absurd.
We hear experts. You know, his house cat at home once said that this is what's happening with the Russians. It's disgusting. It's so phony.
I have nothing to do with Russia.
I have nothing to do with Putin.
Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I don't know Putin.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
She always likes to tie me in with Russia. I have nothing to do with Russia, folks.
Did anyone involved in the Trump campaign have any contact with Russians trying to meddle with the election?
Absolutely not. And I discussed that with the president-elect just last night.
I didn't not have communications with the Russians.
Did any advisor or anybody in the Trump campaign have any contact with the Russians?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Why would there be any contacts between the campaigns?
There's nothing that would conclude me that anything different has changed with respect to that time period.
Nobody that I know of.
So you're not aware of any contacts during the course of the election?
How many times do I have to answer this question?
Can you just say
Russia
yes or no
is
on
a
it?
ruse.
We don't know of any contacts with Russian agents.
You say that the intelligence community says that there were no contacts.
That story in the New York Times is complete garbage.
There was no collusion. There was no coordination. Now the president has taken this issue directly to the president of Russia and raised it. So now I think the issue is officially dead.
He agreed to the meeting because she was promising damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Isn't that at minimum an attempt at collusion?
No.
No.
They have no shame. None. None. And I think that's, in order to be a Republican, you have to have no shame. I mean, what else can I say? What else could I possibly say? But you know what? The next clip we're going to show you, Fox is falling. I mean, they're just tripping over themselves to deny that anything with any collusion with the Russians is even happening. So now we're going to show you the Fox News denial clip, and then we're going to show you the Fox News admittance clip. Fox always wants to be fair and balanced. So sometimes they lie, and sometimes they tell the truth. Most of the times, it's the Republican agenda, so you know it's a lie. But anyway, Judy, let's prove our point, and let's show you, let's listen, let's hear it from the horse's mouth, and let's watch clip number 3, please.
Someone sent me an email. I can't help what someone sends me.
There's no evidence.
No evidence.
No evidence of collusion.
The meeting was meaningless.
Don Jr. is the victim here.
This is about opposition research, and I think bad judgment.
He's not a seasoned political operative.
No illegality in that meeting.
While they might be chumps, that doesn't make them criminals. Collusion ain't a crime. We do not want to criminalize the normal mistakes that people make.
Listening to people is not a crime.
Literally anything could have value.
I could redefine collusion as the collusion between the media, academia, and the entertainment industry. If there's any collusion or any coordination, it's between Hillary Clinton and the Russians.
Hillary just bleached the emails. Maybe if you had done that, Greg, the media would have just said, okay, that's fine.
Nobody knew about it until somebody in the deep state leaked these details.
I think if Trump Jr. puts Russian dressing on a salad, they're going to say it's treason.
It's an insult to nothing burgers.
She's not a Russian attorney.
Well, she's Russian and she's an attorney. She's not a government agent.
She's not linked to the Kremlin at all.
The email, though, said that she was connected to the Russian government.
Ooh, scary email.
Whoever turns down gossip about an enemy, no one ever does. And you don't even give a damn about the source.
If there's something wrong with just trying to help your father, then I guess he's guilty.
We're all guilty.
Lock us up.
Doesn't anybody watch The Americans? That this has been going on for decades.
Right. There's no evidence of collusion here. There's lots of evidence of delusion.
What's the conclusion? Collusion? No, we don't have that yet. I see illusion and delusion.
Guys, they'll say anything and do anything to defend Trump. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When Trump said he could shoot people on Fifth Avenue and get away with it, they would make sure he does, without a doubt. But that was Fox News denying it. Now, I know this is going to be hard to believe, but Fox News actually admits to the deception. And when Fox News sells you out, you're in trouble. So, Judy, let's have clip number 4, please.
We've been told a variety of stories. We've gotten, and who knows if we've gotten to the end of the story. We thought we got to the end of the story with the emails.
I now know we haven't, because there's news breaking at this moment, Chris.
Okay.
Fox News can now confirm more. Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort, the lawyer from Russia, the interpreter, this new guy we found out about today, and a mystery person. John Roberts confirms there was an 8th person in that meeting. We don't know, there may have been more, but there was an 8th. Jared Kushner filled out his form, I think it's an F-86, saying who he'd met with and what he'd done. Very important stuff. You can go to prison for messing it up, intentionally. He went back and added 100 names and places. None of these people made it. They're still not clean. We're still not clean on this, Chris. If there's nothing there, and that's what they tell us there's nothing to this and nothing came of it. There's a nothing burger. It wasn't even memorable. Didn't write it down. Didn't tell you about it because it wasn't anything, so I didn't even remember it with a Russian interpreter in the room at Trump Tower. If all of that, why all these lies? Why is it lie after lie after lie? If you clean, come on clean, My grandmother used to say, when first we practice to, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. The deception, Chris, is mind-boggling. And there are still people out there who believe we're making it up. And one day they're going to realize we're not and look around and go, where are we? And why are we getting told all these lies?
Guys, you see, you see what's going on. You see, and guys like Uncle Joey will just, those guys, they don't know what they're talking about. But what happens is the Republican Party and the people that represent, the Foxstitutes, all the people that work for Fox and the conservative networks, because I don't want to leave any of my buddies out. And I met somebody that knows our buddy Dave Rinelli over at WLAD Radio. So hopefully he can hook something up between me and Dave, but we'll see. I met him at the dog park in Bethel, so sometimes it's a small world. But I almost lost track of thought there. But normally what you want to try to do is, Fox News has these talking points, and the talking points are repeated over and over and over again. And what's a talking point? Like we just heard earlier. Those protesters are paid, right? Those are paid protesters that are out there. Absolutely, of course. Oh, yeah. So now you start to hear. So now what we want to do is show you how to kill a talking point. And I tell you, the Koch brothers think tanks aren't going to be too happy because they pay these people millions of dollars to come up with these talking points. And when you shoot them down, they don't like it. So, Judy, let's have clip number 5, please.
In the meantime, the beat goes on, whether it's Russia or healthcare. This on Russia, Krauthammer writes this. It turned out to be incompetent collusion, amateur collusion,
this is
comically failed collusion.
Guys.
That does not erase the fact that 3 top Trump campaign officials are ready to play. It may turn out that they did later collaborate more fruitfully. We don't know. But even if nothing else is found, the evidence is damning. End quote. Washington Post editorial from yesterday.
Wow.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say it's not what a lot of Democrats have said it is. It's not what some of the wild-eyed accusations are. What it is the death of a really important talking point for the administration, which is there's no there. There's never been any there. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Sorry, Uncle
not a shred.
Joey.
So we have in one fell swoop, we have the death of the talking point. That number one, and then we also have that Donald Trump Jr. and other people in the orbit of the president let the president and vice president go forward and make statements that were untrue and did not correct them. This has badly hurt the credibility of the administration in dealing with the scandal.
We can both agree this is going to go on for some time, whether at least.
I'm eating a donut. I didn't know the clip was going to end that soon. Hey, guys, this is it's a live TV. Well, guys, what the point that I wanted to make there was when you kill a talking point like they did, what they do is they tend to come up with these zombie talking points where you just can't kill them. And Fox News loves to bring them out over and over and over again. And that's why I call it brainwashing, but it's just a very gentle form of brainwashing. You know, they're not shining a light on you, you know, with Doberman pinchers on either side of you. All Fox News does is say, you know, something, you know, these were paid protesters, weren't they? Absolutely. And what happens? The average guy sits there and he hears this, and he hears it from a fair and balanced network, and he repeats it. And what happens? It gets worse as it goes along. But guys, the next clip, it gets worse. And we're going to play you a clip from Jesse Dahmer. And I tell you, he really dives into what's going on. And this is really going to be the final nail in the coffin. But guys, this ain't over by a long shot. Because the more they look, the more they find. And it's, you know, why don't they just keep their mouth shut? And Trump was tweeting again today, and I'm telling you, you know, the old saying, if you're in a hole, stop digging. Trump can't help himself, I tell you. All right, but anyway, the next clip, we're going to wrap up this section of the show. And this is, like I said, with Jesse Dahmer. And this is the extended clip. So, number 6, Judy.
I am Jesse Dahmer with the Occupy Democrats Report. Well, now the details are known about Donald Trump's meeting with Kremlin insider Natalia Veselnitskaya. A lot of critical puzzle pieces are falling into place, and a clearer picture is coming into focus about the many sinister connections between Donald Trump and his offspring and Russia's criminal government and oligarch class. Stay with me because this is jaw-dropping. Like I said a moment ago, this is Natalia Veselnitskaya. She is the woman who, under the promise of being a Russian government official, claimed that she was able to provide damaging intelligence on Hillary Clinton. Well, she met with Paul Manafort, Jared Kushner, and Donald J. Trump Jr. in Trump Tower in June of 2016. Okay, now let's go back to 2009 and Sergei Magnitsky, a lawyer who blew the whistle on a massive money laundering scam in Russia in which hundreds of millions of dollars were being funneled out of the country and into the United States. He was imprisoned without a trial for almost a year, where he was tortured and brutally murdered. As a result of the public outcry of this injustice, the United States Congress and President Obama passed and signed what is now known as the Magnitsky Act, which prohibits entry into the United States by many involved parties and bans them from even using our banking system. Well, in 2012, about $230 million worth of that missing money that Sergei Magnitsky had blown the whistle about was traced to a company called Prevazon, which is owned by Denis Katsev, whose father is an oligarch in Russia. He's the vice president of the Russian Railways, a state-owned monopoly, and former vice premier of the Moscow regional government. Denis was laundering these hundreds of millions of dollars in the New York City real estate market. The U.S. Department of Justice eventually filed charges and brought a case against Denis Katsev. And that's where we enter the man in charge of the Denis Katsev prosecution, Preet Bharara, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. Or at least he was, until March, when he was unceremoniously fired by Donald Trump without cause.
Thank you,
so
Mr. Trump.
He's fired in March, and only 2 months later, the case involving the laundering of over $250 million was quickly settled by Jeff Sessions for a measly $6 million.
Imagine
settled
this, guys.
by the same Jeff Sessions who met and lied about meeting Russians on his sworn Senate confirmation questionnaire and in sworn
hobbit,
testimony and on his sworn SF-86 security clearance forms. So, to bring this thing full circle, guess who is the attorney for the family of Peter Katzeff and his money laundering son Dennis? Yep, Natalia Veselnitskaya. So, she meets with the son of the future president of the United States and offers valuable and damaging information on Donald Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. She was propped up as a representative of the Russian government and was in possession of, according to the email to Don Jr., quote, very high-level and sensitive information, but is part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump, unquote. It seems to those who are paying attention that this woman offered a clear quid pro quo to the Trump organization. And we know now the history of the facts involved. She offered dirt on Clinton, courtesy of the Russian government. Trump was elected. The U.S. attorney in charge of the case against the son of her client was fired, and the case was quickly settled for a pitiful amount. Look, this is clear and sleazy as hell. And these are only the facts we know. It makes me shudder to imagine all the sordid details that we've yet to learn. So, stay tuned, folks.
Guys, I'm telling you, every day it's something else. It's unbelievable. You know, I used to stop for breaking news. Now it's like every time they say it, wow, okay. But, you know, we keep getting diverted by thinking about Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Right, Joey? Russia, Russia, Russia. But you know what? There's one person in the Senate who's not going to let us lose our way. And I'm proud to say that he's my senator. Absolutely. So Chris Murphy is not going to let us get off the track. And guys, he's talking about the one issue that is really the primary issue that we should be concerned about right now. So Judy, let's have clip number 7, please.
The Russia story may be the undoing, ultimately, of President Donald Trump, but the Republican health care bill that right now is speeding towards a vote in the United States Senate would be the undoing of millions of Americans. What's playing out right now in the news with respect to the Trump campaigns, the Trump family's connections to the Russian government, it's a big deal. But the fact of the matter is, in some ways, this ongoing saga about Russia is a gift to Mitch McConnell because it distracts this country from the quiet work that he is doing, trying to build 50 votes to pass legislation that would steal health care insurance from 23 million Americans, would put insurance companies back in charge of your health care, would drive up rates on older Americans, and reimpose the old practice of price discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions. It's not hyperbole to talk about this bill in life or death terms. If you don't have health care and you are sick, then you can't make it. People are up in arms about this bill all across the country. And I just want to make sure that despite the headlines on these scandalous issues related to Russia, that you remain focused on doing everything you can to stop this piece of legislation from becoming law. So order your day and your week in a way that devotes all of the energy that you can to stopping this bill from becoming law. Call your senator, engage with a national group that is standing up the opposition, dominate your online space, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. Tell the story about how awful this bill would be for this country, for your family, for your friends. And if we do that, I think that we can make sure that this awful, hurtful, reckless piece of legislation doesn't become law. Keep the focus on health care.
Guys, that's what it's about. Stay focused. Keep your eye on the ball. Don't go for any of the diversions because that's what they want. You know, and this is what I tell Uncle Joey all the time. He'll come back and, well, what about Obama? Joe, who cares about Obama? Get Obama out of your mind. Now we're dealing with Trump. And Trump's trying to take health care away from your kids. And I'm doing this show so that your kids can have health care. I got to look after your kids because you've been brainwashed and you can't. You're welcome. All right, guys, I love Uncle Joey. And I tell you, he's a real sweetheart. But he's a lost soul. He really is lost. And it's not his fault. You know, all you got to do is watch Fox News or listen to hate radio. You know, like my buddies down at WLAD. Boy, would I love to give them the business face to face. But do you think they'd come on? Nah. They wouldn't stand a chance. But guys, let's take this one step further. Let's go to my favorite people in politics. And he's gonna go into where Trump took the lion's share of the vote, and you're going to hear from the people of West Virginia and how the Affordable Care Act, especially this one guy, saved his life. And this is the idea behind health care, to help people. And the Republican Party wants to take it away from you. Why? So they can give tax breaks to their billionaire buddies. And the insurance companies and the drug companies, so these guys can get rich, while the guy down the street, your friends and your neighbors, have to do without because of their greed. And it's just sad. But the next clip is from my buddy Bernie. So Judy, let's have number 8, please.
There are extraordinary people out there. It blew my mind. We went to West Virginia. This guy gets up there, young man, maybe 30 years of age. His name is Rusty. And he talks about his struggle with testicular cancer.
My name is Rusty Williams, and I am here and able to nervously address this crowd because the Medicaid expansion saved my life.
It's a life and death struggle. This guy is so articulate, such a beautiful guy. There are people like that all over this country.
Call your representatives, call them all, call them every day. Call them so much that they know who you are when they answer the phone. And if they do not support health care for all of you, vote them out.
Media sometimes say we're a divided country. In many respects, we are not divided. When only 12% of the American people support ugly legislation that would do what this legislation would do, we're not divided. The American people want to raise the minimum wage. They want to rebuild our infrastructure. They want the wealthy not to have more tax breaks, but to start paying their fair share of taxes. And I think we've just got to go out to those people and bring them together. Democrats have ignored them for too long.
The way I look at it, if you want to find out the truth, ask Bernie. It's really simple. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And guys, the next clip, we're going to show you some Republican voters that have now realized how they have put their health care in jeopardy by voting for Donald Trump. And look at the reaction, and most of these people, and the one girl starts out, I think she says she's bipolar. And she's, she's on stability medication. Guys, you know how many people are on, daily, I take 9 pills a day. I'm not kidding. 9 pills a day. I don't even know what half of them are, but hey, I tell you what. I go to the hospital, I walk in like a gentleman, I show them my AARP card, no questions asked, everybody's happy, and I tell you, like I said, they treat me like a gentleman. And there's never, okay, you got Medicare and you got the backup insurance, come right in. What can we get for you? What can we do for you? And guys, that's what it's supposed to be like. You know what? The idea that, there's moochers and there's takers. The average guy, he just wants to be able to have his kid be able to go see a doctor once a year. What's the big deal about that? But no, Uncle Joey thinks it's more important to give tax breaks to rich people. Why? Because he hears it on Fox News and on hate radio. And, you know, it's like anything else. But these guys, sometimes you won't believe me, so we have to play the clips. And just listen to these people. And once again, I believe they all voted for Trump. So, Judy, number 9, please.
It's going to be like the zombie apocalypse.
During the last month, I have not only been around Vermont, but I have visited West Virginia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And my impression is that it's not just progressives who really are frightened about this disastrous Republican healthcare proposal, but many of Trump's supporters themselves. Take a listen to what some of Trump's own supporters are saying about his support for this disastrous healthcare bill.
Colleen, how are you feeling about President Trump's take on the healthcare bill?
Scared.
Why?
I have bipolar disorder. It's a pretty severe case, and I rely on my doctor and many medications to make me stable and able to function in the community. And if he takes that away, Medicaid people, Medicare people, those who are bipolar, no medications, no doctors, it's going to be like the zombie apocalypse. Really running through the streets crazy.
What did you think he was going to do with
something
healthcare?
Better? And what I've seen come off the block is not better. It's scary to me.
What do you think, Jackie?
When Trump said, I'm going to repeal and replace Obamacare, I just kind of thought he's promising something that only Congress can do.
So you didn't take it that seriously?
I mean, I didn't. And he promised he was going to replace it with something better, and I just figured Congress isn't going to go along with him. So he's just saying something people want to hear.
But it seems that Congress is attempting.
Yeah, they are. I know, right? I was wrong.
So, and now are you happy with his efforts on it and where Congress finds itself?
No. I mean, I have loved ones that have chronic conditions that are functioning now because of the medications they're on and because of the medical care they receive because I have health insurance. So no, I don't. I'm scared.
She's scared. She ought to be petrified. And why? Because they want to take it from us. It goes beyond logic. It really goes beyond logic. But I think that's, in order to reach the people in the Republican Party, the constituents that support the Republican Party, you can't use logic. It's just not possible. And, you know, I mean, you see through the clips and everything, which, you know, some of these people, I'll tell you, I think they need to have their brains loosened up a little bit. And, you know, she said that, you know, the one girl said that they were under, constant medication or chronic medication. Well, guys, you know, maybe a little marijuana might be able to help alleviate some of the problems. But, you know, a lot of people won't even talk about marijuana. I like to call it marijuana. But a lot of people won't even talk about it because it's a Schedule I drug. Why is it a Schedule I drug? Because the drug companies can't control it, that's why. But guys, let's take a look now at the benefits of marijuana. So Judy, clip number 10, please. No deaths from marijuana have ever been reported. Even better, the report says the effects of cannabis bring merriment and happiness and heightened awareness. Okay. 33 what? Yeah, okay. All right. Judy was out talking to me, and it takes a while for her to get back there, but we got patience, right? Now, guys, the next clip, this is going to get you, but this goes to show you the idea and the logic behind corporate America and how they always think they have to make profits from something that they can control. So, Judy, let's watch how corporate America wants to profit from some marijuana. So, clip number 11, please. What's wrong with this picture, guys? You know, I mean, what's wrong with these guys? It gets me. But you know what? Pot and weed has become so popular. And they just made it legal in Nevada. And guess what happened? 2 weeks in, and they smoked it all. Guys, the state ran out of weed. And that's, when you're out of weed, tough schlitz, you know. But let's see what happens when your state is fortunate to run out of marijuana. So, Judy, let's have clip number 32, please.
Beginning July 1st of this year, Nevada allowed the sale of recreational marijuana. However, and this is the fun part, apparently people wanted to get their hands on marijuana so much that about 2 weeks later, the state ran out. And now the governor is essentially calling a state of emergency in order to get enough pot to help serve medicinal patients in the state. It's amazing. So on Friday, Governor Brian Sandoval endorsed the department's call for a statement of emergency, which would allow for more licensed distributors. Now, here's the interesting part of the story. Keep in mind that there are all sorts of states that have legalized marijuana for both recreational or medicinal use, right? Or both. However, Nevada is the only state that has this temporary law that only allows alcohol wholesalers to have exclusive rights to move marijuana from growers to retailers. And it's a temporary court order that's extended in June by a Carson City district judge. So why? Why do you want alcohol wholesalers to be the only ones who can distribute the marijuana from the growers to the dispensaries?
So
right?
There's an official reason and then there's a real reason. The official reason is, look, this product just became legal in this state, so it could be dangerous. So we're going to need people who know how to transport things and do this for a living to transport it. The real reason is the alcohol guys who give money to the politicians go, hey, these guys are muscling in on our racket. So we got to do something about this. And my guess is, and this is a guess to be fair, that they went and talked to the politicians, and the politicians were like, well, how about if we let you run the transportation part of it so you're cut in on the business?
It's so pathetic because they know that as soon as people get their hands on that weed, weird timing for a cough,
yeah.
But as soon as they get their hands on marijuana, I mean, it's just, people who smoke marijuana usually aren't heavy drinkers, right? I feel like, you know,
it's cheaper. It's way cheaper to be.
It's cheaper. You're more likely to do it at home, right? So you're not going to bars and stuff like that. It's actually safer since you're not going to bars and then potentially drunk driving. But nonetheless, the alcohol industry has been fighting aggressively against legalizing marijuana. They have been spending a ton of money on it because they care about their bottom line. And it's pathetic.
But to be fair to them, I mean, as a business, they want to maximize profits. And when states legalize drugs, alcohol sales do go down.
They do go down.
So, and if we didn't have legalized bribery in this country, you'd be like, okay, well, that's a sad day for you. Make a better product. But since we don't have real capitalism in this country, instead we have crony capitalism, they go, this is the same thing Tesla has to deal with. Like the old car dealers come in and go, it's this damn car, we can't compete with it.
Yeah.
Pass a law saying that they're not allowed to sell it. And so that happened in New Jersey and a couple other places in the way that they sell it, right? So in this case, it's not just the alcohol companies, it's also the drug companies, the pharmaceutical companies. Their sales also go down. By the way, opioid abuse also goes down in states that legalize marijuana. But the drug companies think that's my product you're abusing and buying more of. So they also are fighting drug legalization. But as you can see, apparently the American people want it. They really, really want it. It's sold out immediately.
In less than 2 weeks.
My favorite part of the story is that the governor had to declare the emergency. Emergency! Emergency! We're out of pot! Somebody go get me some weed.
Oh, brother. But guys, it's ironic that clip, Cenk Younger was talking about Tesla. Because Tesla makes a better product and the car industry tries to stifle them. Well, the same thing with the alcohol industry. Once weed becomes legal, the money that flows into the alcohol industry starts to dry up. But the next clip we're going to show you is how Tesla and their batteries are going to help save Australia from blackouts, and not the kind of blackouts you get when you drink. So Judy, can we have clip number 40, please? Oh, I'm sorry.
We will follow two simple rules.
Two simple rules.
Two simple rules. Buy American and hire American.
Guys, this fits in. Keep it. Good, good, good.
All of these places are remarkably low labor cost countries. Now, we know that companies do this and people have a view about it. A lot of Americans like to buy things really cheaply. There's a massive percentage of the stuff we all buy is made overseas. But if your whole shtick is that making things overseas robs Americans of jobs, particularly when it comes to manufacturing, how about you don't lecture the company? How about you don't tweet Ford and you don't tweet Carrier? How about you tweet your daughter, Ivanka Trump, for starters?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We must protect our borders from the ravages of other countries making our products, stealing our companies, and destroying our jobs.
They're hypocrites about everything, right? But that fits right into it. Because where Trump wants to do everything for his family, Elon Musk wants to do everything for the citizens of Australia. So, Judy, let's have clip number 41, I think. There we go. That's the tester car plant, guys.
It's just the normal technical challenges that come with scale. So when you make something 3 times bigger, does it still work as well? We think it will, but there's certainly some risk in that. We're confident in our modeling techniques and in the design of the system, but whenever you make something 3 times bigger than anything that's come before, there's always some risk.
Guys, the next clip shows that Elon is a man of his word, and he's willing to take a bet. So, Judy, 42, please.
This is going to be the largest battery installation in the world by a significant margin. This is a 100 megawatt battery installation. The next biggest battery system in the world is 30 megawatts. So we're talking about something that is more than 3 times as powerful as the next biggest battery installation in the world. And we actually insisted in writing, in doing the contract that that we be held to the 100 days or it's free.
100 days or it's
so that's what we said publicly. That's what we're going to do. I'd also like to thank Mike Cannon-Brooks for talking smack with me on Twitter and kind of getting that. I think he deserves some credits there as well. I really think that like the most salient point here is that the system will be three times more powerful than any system on Earth.
3 times more powerful than any system on Earth. Judy, let's go out with clip number 43, which is the last clip for the Tesla energy for the
Australia
battery.
will soon be home to
and
the
then we
world's
can roll credits. Go ahead.
Australia will soon be home to the world's largest lithium-ion battery system under an agreement between Tesla and the state government there. Elon Musk has pledged that he would build a 100 megawatt power pack battery array in 100 days or it's free. Musk says such an array would cover about 30,000 homes if affected by a blackout. This bold promise comes after a Twitter challenge back in March, which you might already know about, where Musk and an Australian billionaire bantied back and forth about getting local government buy-in and funding money with a jaunty "you're on" and a direct message quote request all on
Bet
Twitter.
between billionaires. That's the way you do it.
Now the South Australian Premier has just confirmed the deal, and Musk was on hand to talk it up. Now, it will be no small feat. It'll be the world's largest battery storage system by a factor of 3, and that's something Musk was keen to tweet. And the largest Tesla Powerpack build to date. The backup system will be tethered to a wind farm in an area where rolling blackouts have previously left 1.7 million customers without power. So saving extra bits of energy rather than offloading or losing it makes sense. The done in 100 days or it's free pledge begins as soon as the grid agreement is signed, and Musk says it'll cost the company $50 million or more if it's not finished in that window. If we have learned anything around here, it's to not underestimate Musk. And Tesla has done this before, first in California with a power pack system at a Southern California Edison substation that can cover about 2,500 homes for a day. Then in Hawaii on the island of Kauai on a solar city panel farm, plus Tesla Powerpack storage facility. And side note, you probably already know that Tesla 3 has just rolled off of production lines, but that is not keeping the company's stock from a steep drop this week, although its year-long view looks far more encouraging. You can catch up on Engadget today on our site. Just click on videos.
Guys, if there's one thing we've learned from Elon Musk and Tesla is don't bet against them. Whatever he's tried to do, he's done. And I want to tell you, he's done it in amazing fashion. And he's revolutionized the world. And it's guys like him. And, you know, we first featured Elon on show 17. So we're really going back. So anyway, Judy, are you going to run the credits now? How much time? How much time do we have? None? Good night, Rich. All right, there's our crew up there. I want to thank everybody for doing such a nice job. It's amazing how we're able to pull this off each week. It really is. And especially Judy. Fickle finger Judy.